Oh, that's not good. Alright, so we got to replace this little box in here that the handle attaches, the knob attaches to. It's known as a torque winder or a torque operator, or sometimes just an operator. Basically, it's a little gear mechanism anyways that takes, when you turn this knob and it goes to that box, and then it turns this rod, which has a couple springs on it and is connected to these arms. And this is what actually opens and closes the windows. So, see, it pivots on this rod here. So I did actually manage to find a new torque operator on Amazon. One of the things people have commented about this particular one is they're hard to find, and they all look like they've been opened. So it does look like it's been opened, but it appears to be the right part. They're just cast aluminum. They're cheap. And so a lot of these vintage RV or camper van windows use very similar systems as this. Some of them have slides nowadays. They just slide open these days, and those are simpler and have less parts to break. But the nice thing with these is when you do open them up is that if it's like today, it's raining off and on, we can have the windows open because it doesn't rain in unless it's like raining sideways or something. So that's nice. Catch is they do wear, it's just cast aluminum. They're cheaply made, cheaply manufactured, and they do fail. So I found these on Amazon. I'll have a link for them in the description. One thing I want to point out about these, they're fairly common. I've seen them on road treks. I've seen they're in this Dutchman aerolite trailer, which is made by Thor. And they're generally vintage equipment. I never thought of this trailer as being vintage. It's 1996 model. I did not think that was vintage, but I'm old enough, I guess. I think of vintage as being like 70s. Anyway, this is from Primeline. They're the only company I know, as far as I'm aware, that's actually providing these things. This is noted as an operator right hand. And a lot of people get confused about this because if you look at this, you would think that means it's on the right hand side of the window. But in fact, it's on the left hand side and not on the right hand side. So what that right hand is referring to is that the thing goes in the window, let me get it right, like so, and the spot here where the rod attaches is on the right hand side of this operator or winder. So make sure you get that straight. If the right hand operator is going to be on the left side of the window, at least in this design of window, and the left hand operator would be on the right hand side. We have like 6 windows in this trailer that have these operators. 5 of them are like this, and the one is on the other side. So assuming this works all right, I'm going to order up one of each to have them on stock or to have them on hand because they are known for failing. And I had a hard time finding this one. It was out of stock when I needed it, and fortunately eventually came back into stock. So we're going to see if we can get this window fixed. It's fairly simple repair to replace this, so I'll show you how we do it. Alright, so we're going to dive into replacing this. It's honestly not a bad job with some very basic tools. I'm just using these two. I should note, I'm not an RV repair tech. I don't claim to be. I'm still learning my way around the RV thing. I have one of my several careers I've had over the years was being a handyman and doing commercial maintenance, so I do have some experience turning screwdrivers and wrenches, but not so much on RVs. I'm still learning my way around these things. But we're going to use 2 tools for this, and they're just a couple of screwdrivers, a flat blade and a Phillips blade. The Phillips is really the only essential one for this project, but we do have to remove these little E-clips, which I'll show you in just a second here, and that's the easiest to do with a flat blade, although I do have, you know, another one on here. You can always use a pocket knife or a butter knife or whatever, so fairly simple. We're going to start with taking the knob off, which on all of these just have a Phillips screw in the middle here, and we'll just unscrew that, and this just screws into the knob on the torque winder or torque operator. There we go. So there's that. The knob stays and gets reused, and this is the, you can see the, begin to see the torque winder here in the window. So Alright, so next step is these rods here that connect, they're hinged and they connect the window to this rod. And so they're going to disconnect these bars right in the middle, and there's what's called an E-clip on here. And so you just pop these off by just putting a screwdriver in there and turning. And look at that, we did it without losing it, because these things do like to fly because they're like little springs. There we go. But there's the E-clip, and we're just gonna remove the one on both sides and get onto these. Like I said, these will fly and you'll end up losing them, and then but they can get them replaced at any hardware store, so they're not hard to find. And again, this just pops off. These only take a second to remove. Oh. Give it a little motivation there to get going. And I'm trying to do this so you can actually see what I'm doing, which adds to the challenge a little bit, but there we go. So there it is. And once these E-clips are removed, this just pops off of here, like so. And we're going to do that on the other side, and then we're going to have to go outside and remove the window itself. All right, there's one more screw I almost forgot on the end here. On this particular window, I've seen this done a few different ways, but on the side where the torque operator is, I showed you that little notch where the bar fits into, right up in here, and you're going to see this better in just a minute when we take it out. But then on the other side here, in this particular window, there's just a screw that goes through this frame into the end of that bar and holds that in place, that rotating bar. And there's other windows in here. They have a receiver cup with a couple of screws to hold it in from this side, but this side is here, so we're going to remove that, and then we're going to go outside and remove the window from the frame itself. Alright, so we're also battling the rain a little bit today, so hopefully that helps, but it's fall and we're trying to get some projects done before we need to hit the road, so gotta get this done. This window, you can see it opens up all the way now because these are detached. That's what connects it. Some of these windows, apparently when you lift them up, they'll just lift right out. This one has a set screw on either end, a little Phillips head set screw, and so we're going to remove one of those, and when we do, it's going to allow the window to slide out. So these set screws actually hold the window in place and keep it from going side to side. So I'm going to remove the one on this end. Alright, so I'm going to remove a set screw here, and they're just small little screws, and this should let us slide the window out. So like I said, they're just little bitty things, and with that out of the way, we should be able to slide this window right out of here, and that's it. Well, with this screw removed over here, this will drop down. There it is, and you can see the springs and this bar here. And this will remove from the end of the torque winder. There we go. So there's that bar. And that's that whole assembly that makes the window work. Alright, you can see the torque winder or torque operator here in the window frame. They come with 3 screws. This one is only screwed in with 2. Seems like they only use 2 in all these. I don't know if that matters or not, but that's how they're in here. So, and that's just a Phillips screwdriver to remove those as well. So go ahead and get those out of there. Okay, so there's that. Apparently a shim behind it. That did not fall out before. That's interesting. So there's our defective torque winder or torque operator anyway, and it's a little bit sloppy. And it's just cast aluminum. It's not very good quality here or anything. But there's where the handle goes on, and you can see as you turn the handle, this part turns, and that's what turns that rod that's attached to it, which in turn moves the springs and opens, and those other bars, and opens and closes the window. So we're going to pop a new part on here, and hopefully this will take care of the problem for us. I'm going to go ahead and reuse the screws that came out of here, just so I know everything's going to fit that way. You could use new ones. This is a brand new one. Obviously, it's there we go. It works. It turns. It's still just cast aluminum, but at least it's tighter and not sloppy like the other one, so hopefully that's going to work. So we'll put our screws back in up here and put everything back together. That's as simple as it is. These I'm just snugging down. Everything's aluminum, so I don't want to really crank anything hard enough to strip anything or break anything, but want them in there tight, so that's in there. And now we'll go ahead and put the rest of the window back together. And again, this is the end that is screwed into through the window frame, and this end with a notch on it goes right into the torque winder or torque operator. Hopefully I can get these in right the first time. Now these springs, one end just hooks on the back of this bar like so, and the other end it just hooks on the window frame. It's nothing fancy or precise at all. This might be the more challenging part of it, because you need slightly strong fingers to, there we go, to do this. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with this end. I find it easier to do I'll get onto the frame first. There we go. And then this is going to go in here. And we have to remember to put that screw back in so we don't lose anything there. And then we put the window back in, which again, it's just got this little channel here that's going to slide into another channel on top. And then we'll put the set screw back in so it doesn't fall out while we're driving down the road, because that'd be a bad day. There we go. So little tiny set screw, we'll put that back in up here, and that'll hold the window from sliding out. So the first thing we gotta do is, I'm not going to tighten it down yet, but I'll put this on here so we can move things. Pull that window in, and we should be able to reattach these bars here now. And we're going to put C-clamps on these, of course, or the E-rings rather, on these. There we go. But they're attached for now, so we can make sure everything's going to work. And look at that, working nicely. We'll put this screw back on the end here to hold that rod in place before I forget, which could happen otherwise. And this is just a matter of lining up that bar. I'll close this window again to take any pressure off it. And it's a matter of lining up the bar with a hole. And then tighten that screw down. And alright, we got our E-clips here. You can pop these on by hand or using just a screwdriver to force them on. You can also use a pair of pliers. Again, watch out they don't go flying on you, because they do like to do that. And then you'll have to go to the hardware store and find some new ones. So I'm just gonna kind of hold it in place and shove it down with a screwdriver, which should hopefully work. There we go. Be careful if you do it with a screwdriver like I just did, because if you slips, you can put a hole in your hand. Don't ask me how I know that. Alright, same thing on this one. You can see it's just gotta make sure you got it in there tight, Make sure it's in there tight so that you can see the gap, the little groove there we're going to plug this thing into. Oh, there it is. That went on easy. And that's it. We put the screen back in. I guess we'll put the screw back into the knob to make sure that stays on. I don't want to lose that. There is a little bit of slop in these things at the end as they draw tight, and this is even with a brand new winder, but it's less slop than it used to have, and this is nice and smooth. The other one had been getting kind of tight and you felt it getting hard, and working beautifully now, so hopefully the missus is all impressed. Hopefully I'm our hero now. So guys, that's how easy it is. Ladies, you can do this too. Piece of cake. Yeah, it's actually a very simple repair. There's lots of stuff on RVs that are a complete pain in the butt because it's just hard to get to things and nothing's standard and all the rest. This is actually a pretty easy one. So if you got a broken torque winder or torque operator, I'll have a link in the description for you. I forget the name of these things, the style of windows, but they're common, very common in the vintage RVs, camper vans, including road tracks I've seen them in. So if you got these, this is how you fix these things. Not a bad idea to have them on hand because they are going to break, and then you're ready when they do. I think this was less than $10 if my memory's right, $8 or something. So at least it's not expensive, but yeah, we'll have a couple on hand now, and so next time one breaks, it'll be simple to do. And the rain cooperated pretty good, held off pretty good. So one less project to getting ready to hit the road.